My mic was off this whole time. Nobody told me. Okay, I'm going to start over. All right, this right here, which is what I was initially talking about. Also, for one thing, hello, welcome. I'm talking about something that I don't usually talk about, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. Hello, symphony, blah, blah, blah. I have to do my intro all over again, really, because my mic was off. That's so sad. But I'm not going to do it because my mic was off and I'm terrible at this. I'm telling you, I'm terrible. Anyway, my mic is on now, so I'm going to say what I just said. Nobody is doing, see this highlighted statement? This initially just kind of sets this whole thing up for failure, okay? Like, I already got mad at this. This statement right here made me upset. I'll tell you why. Nobody is programming Bach, Beethoven, and all these other composers because they're white. No one's doing that, okay? Show me an orchestra that is programming these people because they are white. No, it's because, number one, we have access to their music, and number two, because people generally like their music. Okay? Nobody is saying we specifically are trying to cut out people's music of people. We are trying to specifically cut out the music of people of color. Nobody's doing that. At least I hope not. I haven't heard of anybody doing that, and I am not aware of any orchestra actually doing that, because that would be crazy and that would be very bad. So as far as I know, nobody's specifically picking them because they're white. So already, like, this whole talk right here is going to be about this article that I read, because I was taking my morning tea, because tea is good for you. And then I came across this article. I'm like, whoa, that's inflammatory. Like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. The enemies of classical music open a new front. Oh my God, ads, please. Ads, please. How do I make it go away? Oh, okay. Never mind. We're good. Anyway, the enemies of already, that's already a clickbaity kind of title. And I fell for the bait. I took the bait. Okay, I did. But how could you not take the bait? How could you not take the bait? Look at this. I cannot stand the enemies of classical music. How dare you oppose something that I spent my entire life learning, or my formative years in music learning, okay? Formative years, not my entire life. This was like what I learned first, basically. Anyway, go away, thank you. Anyway, go away, thank you. You did not pay me for this ad space. Anyway. So yeah, already I'm like, it's not like that. The reason people are pushing for diversity in orchestra programming, so different kinds of music, Coleridge Taylor, Florence Price, and other kinds of Black composers. The reason why people are pushing for that is because, number one, the orchestra programs are getting kind of stale. Yes, I like Tchaikovsky, I like Bach, I like Beethoven, I like all of that. But also, I've heard it about 1,000, 1,000,000,000 times. And I'll say it. Nobody's gonna love me when I say this, but some of the more out there music, kind of more modern type of symphonies, kind of composed in more of a modern style, they're not super fun to listen to. I'm not going to lie. Like, nobody really wants to listen to some really artistic, avant-garde, super, complicated. Sometimes people just want to listen to like really nice and sweet melodies, but sometimes they don't. And another thing is that a lot of music is kind of not, in orchestras, is not really super catered to young audiences. So what ends up happening is that they go and start making like pops music, right? So this is already just kind of wrong. The diversity is kind of more to introduce new music into the rotation, and to also lift up composers of color and female composers who have traditionally kind of been like ignored and stuff, but it's not really people are pointing out, oh, this Bach and this Beethoven, this is white superior. It's not really that, at least not from my point of view. And then this right here argues that if the diversity proponents have their way, the results will be less enjoyable concerts. No, that's not true. Like literally, since orchestras have been doing a little bit more pop music, they have been getting even more, people interested in the orchestras, right? Like, look at Yo-Yo Ma and two cellos and the piano guys and Lindsey Sterling and all of that. Like, even just diversifying the amount of content you do, not even just the types of people that you do, but like the kinds of, kind of doing like the classical pop. I'm just mad at this article, okay? I'm talking about the article. Oh, yeah, you can go. But like even just like broaden the range. Like they stopped doing the Nutcracker because every year for like a decade they had been doing the Nutcracker around Christmas. And I personally like the Nutcracker, but I've also seen it like 6 billion times. I don't want to watch the Nutcracker 20,000 times. Like, I get it, it's like a tradition and all of that, but now with the advent of social media and that you can record stuff, like, maybe we can get other stuff, And I didn't go and see the thing this year because I don't want to be in a concert hall with a bunch of other people who might have COVID, and I'm still scared of COVID, okay? I'm not gonna lie. COVID terrifies me, and I am super not down for that. So I will be continuing to watch the live stream concerts. Okay, there. But yeah, like stuff that gets people energized, like, and unfortunately there's just not a lot of concert pieces. Like people think that orchestra music just kind of happens. Like, yes and no. Like, it's just we were gonna have to diversify the content one way or another. Okay, so some orchestras. Some orchestras complain about doing the pops music. And okay, fine, you don't want to do pops, you don't want to do pop songs. Okay, fine. Well, we're gonna have to find other orchestra music because there's only so many times somebody is going to be paying like $80 to come and listen to like that, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because the music is just kind of just the same. It's not the same in terms of like listening to it, but like the programming is always like, okay, well, we're playing Beethoven this year. We're playing Rachmaninoff. Honestly, I will never get tired of Rachmaninoff. I will never get tired of Poulenc. I will never get tired of Rachmaninoff. They are my two favorite composers, and it's just what it is, okay? I will never get tired. But some other people, they just get tired. They're just like, oh, well, I've already heard this before, and it's hard. Like, we want to pay the orchestras. We want the orchestras to make money. Yes. This is good for you. This is good for me. This is good for everybody, okay? We want orchestras to make money. And it's hard to make money when, first of all, the people who a lot of the times are interested in classical music happen to be older. And unfortunately, older people can sometimes move on from the mortal realm, right? So, you're gonna have a lot of people who are just kind of like, kind of not going out. You're gonna have more people going out the door than coming in the door. Let's say it like that. So how are we gonna some people in the orchestra complain about playing pop music? Okay, fine. We don't have to play pop music, but we do got to find something else. And this is one good way because there are actually a significant number of compositions, orchestral compositions by women, by other cultures, by other races. I, for one, really like playing, or I like listening to. I haven't actually played any Arabic orchestral pieces, but I heard one, and I was just like, this is amazing. I have to do this at some point in my life. I probably never will, because, you know, I'm not orchestra material. Like, I struggle with playing the same bowings as other people, because I'll just be like, no, I would feel like changing my mind. Like, I could do it, but it's just like a struggle because my brain doesn't work right. Okay, like, I don't know. Okay, just we'll leave it at that. Anyway, but like, yeah, that is, I think, really, really important, not only for your growth as a musician, but also just to keep yourself interested, right? Like, as an orchestra musician, right? You've already played all the Tchaikovsky, all the Beethoven, probably not all the Rachmaninoff, but you've already played all of that, right? So now you get this beautiful Arabic composition, or this beautiful lady's composition. All right, this is something that you never heard before, that you never played before, and it contributes to your growth as a musician as well. There's just good. Well, less enjoyable concerts are listening to the same thing over and over again. This is not a radio, right? This is not like Spotify where you can just listen to it on repeat. You paying $80, $100 to come and watch it live. And yeah, sure, but think about it like a movie theater. Who's paying every time to go to the movie theater to see the same movie? Nobody, right? So I think that having, like, if you don't want to play pops and you still want to program orchestral material, then you're going to have to look outside the box, because there's not a super large amount of orchestral pieces being made that audiences will want to listen to. A lot of it's kind of like more modern, which it takes a special kind of person to listen to. I'm not one of those people, okay? If it's too atonal, if it's too out there, then I just kind of clock out. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I'm not one of the. Now, my baby over there, he will listen to that, and he will appreciate it. Me, I'm too stupid. I can't. So, like, you know, just. I think this is a good way. Just looking for, okay, well, we're not looking for Bach and Beethoven. We already have that. Who else can we look for? Lena McLin, Florence Price, Symphony. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, yes, so we know about your ads. Go away. Vegans, blah blah blah. Okay, in artistic planning, guide lays out actionable strategy. Orchestra seeking to diversify, and that's the whole thing. He got mad because this person who wrote the letter got mad that somebody was saying, like, if you wanted to expand your repertoire, if you wanted to, not that you had to, if you wanted to, right? See, like, this isn't even like a saying like you have to do this. It's if you wanted to. And to be fair, I think a lot of orchestras should want to. And I think a lot of orchestras do want to, which is why most of them expanded into pops, you know. And this is also why they have outreach programs as well. So, like, youth orchestras that are kind of like affiliated, like little satellites, they have their like thing where they go in to do the petting zoos at the school, or they go into the schools and do like a little mini concert, which I wish they would start doing that again around here, because I thought it was pretty cool. And where they have like the kids orchestras and they come in and play, and the kids come and sit next to the like orchestra members and they all play together. Stuff like that. That's really cool. Anyway, this particular guy puts, yeah, exactly. So, while many orchestras are advocating for more diverse concerts and inclusive programming, this particular guy, yeah, exactly. They're like, yeah, this is something we as artistic directors and, people who are in charge of the orchestra business stuff, this is something we're interested in doing because we think it gets more people in the seats. Okay? This is the main. We want the orchestras to make money. Say it with me. We want the orchestras to make money. Do you have any idea how important having orchestra musicians is to your local scene and to the musician economy? Okay? We don't want a bunch of musicians out of business. Okay? We want people to think orchestra is wonderful. We want people to think orchestra is awesome. So they spend money in the orchestra. So the orchestra musicians can get paid. So that way they can continue to put on these nice big concerts and these nice big shows. So that way people can enjoy them. Okay? I'm all for having more ways for musicians to make money. And actually, orchestras are a pretty decent way for, probably the only way for, people who play orchestral instruments to make money. Like, why are you going to put your local harp player out of business? Right? Like, yeah, you can play weddings all day and all night, but like, orchestras still pay more and they're more consistent. Anyway, but I'm just saying. He's saying the problem is that it destroys meritocracy in the orchestral repertoire and places a heavy burden to choose diversity over compositional merit. What is compositional merit? Right? What is that? So I understand that you don't want to put on a piece that sounds bad. And to be fair, if you're picking up pieces and you're not listening to them beforehand, so and this is another thing I have a problem with. You just think that people are going to be like, oh yeah, we should put this piece on the program because it was made by a black woman, and then it sounds like, no, nobody's doing that, right? Like, what is compositional merit to you? If you don't think it has compositional merit, but like everybody out there else is clapping for it, then maybe your brain is messed up and the audience is fine, right? So it's just like, it's not, nobody's putting stuff that sounds bad on the program. Like, it's just kind of like a weird, but nobody's doing that, right? And it's not putting, it's a guide. It's not putting a burden on anybody. It's just a guide. They're saying, hey, if this is something you're interested in doing, here's how you can take steps to do it. What's their deal? It's not compulsory, right? It's just like saying, hey, you could do this, and this is how you could do it, right? So that's why I'm like, bruh, what are you talking about? That's not what it is. It's not that. Whatever you're thinking it is, it's not that. Like, look, there are some orchestral pieces that I've listened to that I would have strongly preferred to not listen to. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And I think that people's ears are refined enough as musicians to know when a piece is pleasant and when a piece is unpleasant, right? So I just don't understand. Like, I wish that this person would have given like I wish this person would have given an example of a piece that was programmed that didn't have compositional merit. You know what I mean? I wish you would give an example, because like, then we can say, oh, concretely, it's like, okay, well, if we have programmed stuff like Palladio, how did Palladio go? I forgot. And that was made by a black composer, or stuff like that. It's just like, if you point to something like that and it's just like, okay, well, now we can analyze it and see what you mean and see if you're just being silly, right? Because I think Palladio is a very pretty piece. It's not super hard to play, but it doesn't have to be hard to play to sound nice. I mean, look at pop music. No shade. No shade, no shade. But look at pop music, right? Pop music has got usually very simple melodies, very simple harmonies, and people love it. Okay? People love it because it sounds nice. So, like, yeah, it's the job of like the artistic director to curate music and all of that and da 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 da. But like, if I have to click one more ad, I'm going to lose my mind. But no, I'm just kidding. But like, it's just kind of like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about that the pieces that people are choosing don't sound good? Like, they're not going to put it on the program just because it was written by someone of color or written by a woman or written by, you know what I mean? It's not going to be like that. They still want people to come into the door. And if the first time you come into the door, imagine this, right? We're going to use a movie theater example again. Imagine you go into a movie theater, right? Okay. And you saw on the, like, you saw it online or something, and there was like, oh, this is a movie called Microphone Dude or Microphone Girl. I'm a girl. Okay. Microphone Girl, right? I don't know. I just looked at my stuff and I was like, microphone, picture of guy. Okay. Don't worry about it. Anyway. So I did the Donald Trump thing. Okay. Anyway. No. My brain is going to make me do something I'm probably going to regret. Anyway. Like you go to and you're like, oh, okay. And then you go to the movie, right? You have an expectation of the movie theater to, not put on something that would be just completely out there, right? Completely just like, what, this isn't even a movie. What is it, right? You like, this is hard for me to do, but like, if you put on a piece of music that is really atonal, really arrhythmic, really just out there, you're going to alienate a ton of people. But this stuff gets on programs sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes stuff like this gets on a program. And it's just kind of like, imagine that's your first experience going and seeing an orchestra concert. Is this just like mesh of sound and sure, you can go and talk to the composer about it, because usually the composer will give a little talk before or after for like the VIPs or whatever, but like, it's not really gonna change what your ears heard. You're just like, oh yeah, I get it. And if you're like one of those people that understands, then maybe that you'll come back. But for most people, they'll just kind of pack up their bags and go. Like me, I've been in some shows where I'm just like, I really just want to go home, but I also paid for the ticket, so I'm gonna sit here, but I really want to go home, right? So I think that this is just a very, very silly. This right here is just silly, very, very silly. It's bad enough that the quote-unquote progressives want to ditch blind auditions in favoring of hiring musicians or other irrelevant characteristics. Sir, do you realize you still have to pass? Sir, madam, I don't know. Okay, person, do you realize you still have to pass the orchestra audition? Okay, they're not letting any Tom, Dick, and Harry just come in the audition and be like, hey, I'm a woman, let me in the orchestra. Okay, sure, here's 60 grand. It's just like, no. You still have to pass the audition. Really, you have to pass the audition. And the audition is not easy to pass. It's never easy to pass. Why? Because they want to separate the wheat from the chaff. Okay? Everybody that they're considering for the position has passed the audition. Okay? If it was the case that they were just hiring musicians just based solely off a race, they could just go into their local high school and just pick up somebody from there. It's like, oh, okay, hello, Mary Sue, you can be in the orchestra now. No, they're not doing that, right? You still have to audition. You still have to present your resume, okay? You still have to present your qualifications, And then, they'll lower it down to this pool of applicants where they're like, okay, well, I feel like these people are eligible to get into the orchestra. You know? Like, the auditions are still blind. But, like, then they have, like, other stuff and blah, 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 blah. So it's just kind of like, they're like, okay, well, these are the people, these are the top 5, and these are definitely the people that we want in the orchestra. So who are we choosing? And then it's just like, if you all guys are tied, they pick, okay, well, excuse me. Well, we want to include more women. We want to include more Hispanic people. We want to include, more Arabic people. Okay, we're going to choose Rashid. I don't know. Okay, we're going to choose Rashid, right? Okay, cool. Rashid's in the orchestra now. Guess what? It's always kind of sort of been like that, right? They'll look at you. They'll lower it down to a pool of people who they want in the orchestra, right? And then they'll look and they'll see like, oh, well, Shaniqua is here in the top 5, but we don't want a Shaniqua in the orchestra. Okay, it sucks. It sucks either way, but it's not, how do I say, it's not like, I don't really know how to say this, but it's not as big of a deal as this person is making it out to be. It's already really hard to get into an orchestra, So I think that this is, how you say, this is kind of a so what, right? Because like you're gonna get knocked out if you ever audition for an orchestra. It is highly likely that you'll probably get knocked out. There's like 1,000,001 people who have been studying for 10 years longer than you. Even if, say you're 10 years old, there was someone who was studying when they were still in the belly. Okay, there was somebody whose mom was just like telling them how to hold the bow and reading music theory to them, and like putting classical music through the headphones on her belly and stuff. There was somebody who was doing that, okay? And then there was someone who actually invented time travel to like teach their okay, so like there's always someone better than you. So you won't ever really know whether or not, was it my name, was it my race, was it my father's money? No, I'm just kidding. I have never heard of that happening. I'm sure it could. I've never heard of it. But you won't ever know. The one thing that you will know for certain is that your playing ability helped you to get to the second round of auditions or whatever. So I think that your playing ability is always probably going to be the biggest factor. Because if you can't get past the first round, well, you can't get past the first round, and nothing is going to change about that. And even if this was, even if they did eliminate, the race and the gender and the orientation, I don't know what they're considering people off of, but even if they did eliminate that, that doesn't really increase your chances enough, because the fact of the matter is that there's not a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of women, sure, but there's not a lot of people of color. There's not a lot of, there's not a lot of people of color who are really auditioning anyway. So it's just kind of like, it just kind of feels like a so what, just, I don't know. Maybe someone smarter than me can explain it, but it's just kind of like, if you were that much better, and you are certain that you were that much better, then maybe you can have a complaint, but like, no, who really knows what the judges are listening for? Because like, it can depend. Maybe your instrument was not feeling good that day. Maybe you weren't feeling good that day. Maybe your bow decided, no, screw you, I'm gonna break. So I just feel like this is kind of a so what, you know? And again, this is not something that all orchestras are practicing anyway. I would say, especially with the major orchestras, this is kind of not really a thing. I don't know for certain, but looking at the makeup of the big orchestras, I would say it's probably just not a thing. I'm just saying. And even so, it doesn't reduce the quality of the orchestra. So, you know, you still have to play the music, still have to learn the music. You don't automatically get tenure just because you pass the audition. So it's just kind of like, y'all gotta deal. Y'all just I don't know. All right. So then the equity agenda. We already talked about this. Okay, y'all acting like y'all don't want to play pops. We got to find something to keep the people in the door. Anyway, note it's very easy to stay home and listen to works you'll know and enjoy. Exactly. And guess what? People love Toy Story. People love Toy Story. Nobody is going to pay $30 every 2 weeks or something. How often is this orchestra? I don't know. Whatever. No one's gonna pay $30 every 2 weeks to go and see Toy Story. They're not doing it. Okay? Especially since you can just get it on DVD. Okay? I can get Beethoven. We're going to look on Spotify right now. I'm going to see how many recordings of Beethoven's Third Symphony there are on Spotify. If I find one, that's already it. But why did they pop up Beethoven's Fifth Symphony? I just want the Third Symphony. What is wrong with you people? Why is the Moonlight Sonata? Beethoven's Third Symphony. Look, there's so many songs. Dude. Okay, well, Spotify is dumb anyway. This is some violin thingy-ma-thing. But look, there's so many. I could scroll into the end of time. No, I'm just kidding. I can't scroll until the end of time. But there's a lot, okay? Just saying. It's good to program new stuff. This is why in movie theaters, even though stuff is considered classic, they don't play the same things over and over. We should allow a free marketplace of ideas to decide through the messy process of hearing music over and over again with different ears at different times. What should stand the test of time? These pieces already have stood the test of time. They're literally timeless. The problem is that they're being played too close together. Right? Like, there's tons of music that was composed in the Renaissance and the Baroque and the pre-Baroque era. I don't know what came before Baroque. I'm sorry. There's tons of music that is just lost. And then there's tons of music in other countries and other cultures that is just lost. But the stuff that has survived through either being repeated throughout, time and having other people like sing it and stuff, and then they pass it on orally or verbally, or they've written it down and then it got made a billion copies of, it's already been preserved. It's already being preserved by people repeating it and listening to it and referencing it and all of that. And honestly, if we really did want to allow a free marketplace of ideas to decide, I'm just going to say Taylor Swift might win. Okay? She might win. Okay? You're going to have you're gonna make 2 concerts, right? Okay, and you're gonna advertise one is like, hey, we're playing Taylor Swift music, and hey, we're playing Beethoven. I bet you would get way more people coming to the Taylor Swift concert. Okay, I'm just saying, if you really want to do that, we can do that, but then orchestral music will actually die. So let's not do that. Let's just be considerate of the fact that people appreciate the orchestral music. People want to listen to it, but they don't want to be bored and listen to the same thing over and over and over and over again. And if you're going to complain about the orchestras doing pop music, okay, then I think that this is a really good middle ground. It's finding composers that don't normally have their music their music played, right? There's plenty of music that was made in the early days, 1800s and stuff like that, that were by, people who were considered the underclass, people who were considered, not really quote unquote worthy, right? So there's plenty of music like that, and we can discover plenty of music like that. And also, by doing this, we give more jobs to ethnomusicologists. Oh my gosh. Just imagine the treasure troves of music. If orchestras were like, hey, we have a bounty, bring us some orchestral music ethnomusicologists, okay? We'll give you 10 grand for every orchestral piece you find for us, you know what I mean? And then we can fund more ethnomusicology. And not only that, we can preserve more music. There's so many lost pieces out there. This could be good. Don't frame it as a bad thing. This could be good. This could be huge. Okay, we could find a lost work of Beethoven. We could find a lost work of Bach. We could find a lost Tchaikovsky. We can find lost music from even composers that we already love and all of that. And we can find I just really don't understand why at least the programming would be a bad thing. I can understand people kind of being a little bit sore about the auditions, but I'm just gonna say I'm not convinced that it's the primary deciding factor. I think that if somebody is just literally the world's best violin player, and they just happen to be white or Asian, and then somebody who's Arabic or Hispanic or Indian, they come by and they're just barely good enough to pass the audition. I don't think they're gonna take the barely good enough to pass the audition. I'm just saying, no shade, but I don't think that that's what's going to happen. They're going to be like, oh my God, my mind has been blown by this. You know what I mean? So, I feel like it's more of just a tiebreaker is the way that they implement it. But yeah, this free marketplace of ideas thing will kill classical music, orchestral classical music. And then we'll just have to do orchestral arrangements of pop songs, which is great for Warner Brothers and Universal and all those, and Sony and all those giant music companies. But it's not so great for the orchestras. It's expensive to run an orchestra. You got to pay salaries, you got to pay licensing fees, you got to pay the librarian, you got to pay, everybody, the ushers, the concert hall sometimes if you don't own it. It's a lot of money. And I think that by finding music that's and especially even commissioning music, I forgot about that. Even commissioning music, you find some up and coming composer or whatever, and then you're just hey, commission, this orchestra is gonna commission some music for you from you, even commissioning music. I think that that's a fantastic way to inject new music into the thing, because that's what we need. We need more new music. And more than more new music, we need more new people. Okay? I'm just saying we need more new stuff in classical music if the orchestras are going to survive. And unless you want to do pop music all day, which sounds like maybe this person doesn't want, then maybe, I don't know. Just think about it. Just think about it. I think this person is just mad. And that's okay. You can be mad, but you can also be wrong. You can be wrong and mad. Like, who's this? I mean, look. Person, this person, like, you can be mad and wrong. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I would like to see this. This is the only thing I'm just kind of like, actually, I really don't know. I would like to see maybe this person, I don't know, this person auditioned for an orchestra and then they were like, sorry, we can't hire you because you're white or whatever. I don't think that orchestras are really doing that. But I do think that some orchestras are considering it. Like, if they have like a tiebreaker, like I said. I don't think that they are, I don't think that they're just choosing people who, number one, I don't think that they're choosing people who they don't think can cut it. So if you're going to argue that, it's going to make the orchestra music suffer, well, no, it's not. Number two, I don't think that the vast majority of people who are auditioning are not people of color. I don't really know about women because I've seen a lot of women in orchestras, so I don't really know the ratio. I still assume that it's mostly men, but also, like, I don't know, okay? So that's the other thing. So this is the only thing that I might be like, yeah, but I also don't think this is a bad thing. I think that this is just kind of like like, I mean, if you don't get the audition, there's more auditions, because that's just kind of the way it works. For whatever reason, you just take it on the chin and move on. It's not like you'll never get a job. Even though, like, even if it's like a job, because I've had like gigs that I really, really wanted, and I've lost many gigs because I'm Black. I've gained many gigs because I'm Black. And I'm just grateful for everything that I've gotten. Because, like, girls gotta eat. I'm a little bit more rotund, so I might need a little bit more food now than back then. But, it's just kind of like, it doesn't really matter. Like, if you audition for like an acting role, they can just say no because you look ugly. They can say no because he's like, no, I don't really like the fact that you have painted your nails blue. I don't like the color blue. They can do that. So I just feel kind of like, so what? Like, if you don't get it, just kind of move on. That's my feeling on it. Like, because I've been on both ends. I'm grateful for what I get, and I don't really maul too much over the stuff that I didn't get. This is the only thing I'm kind of just like, I don't really know. I don't think that this is happening at least widespread enough to be an actual problem, but also, But everything else, I'm just like, no, bro. No, you just are trying to kill. You are trying to kill orchestras, and I cannot abide that, okay? Orchestras, you know what? Someone described orchestras to me like musical museums. And while I like that idea, I don't think that it's helpful in the long run. Mostly because orchestras are performing organizations. Like, they're educational too, but I think that the colleges kind of do more of the education on that front. Like, you know what I mean? Like in a museum, you don't really go for performance. You kind of go, and then they have like little blurb. They have like exhibits, and then they have little blurbs about it, and they kind of weave you into like the culture of the time. They're just more immersive. Like, there's, I don't know how to explain it, but like orchestras as musical museums is cool, but also I don't know, man. I feel kind of like that's a little bit of a harder set of a little bit of a harder sell than, because like I don't know, because you have y'all have gone to art museums and y'all gone to like exhibits and stuff. Like they don't let you touch the exhibit, but there's like something physical there for you to kind of like latch onto, right? With music, there's nothing really for you to latch onto. It's kind of weird. Like you can like the music, but it's all kind of just goes by you. Does that make sense? It's really weird. It all just kind of goes by you. Like you can't, in a concert, you can't just like, you're like, oh, I really like this melody is so beautiful, or this chord progression is so beautiful. You can't like rewind it and play it again unless you're like on Spotify or something, right? So like it kind of just goes past you, which is why I'm like, yeah, sure, orchestras play a lot of like old music, but like I think that a music museum is a little bit harder to sell. So I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to rant about this because it's important to me, and because it upset me. It made me mad. I'm not gonna lie. I just wanted to rant about it because it made me mad, and because I'm not going to be posting a music today. So, you know. So I was just like, look, I put some content here for you. You're welcome. You're very, very welcome. Yeah, I just think, I just think that this whole thing, I just I don't think this has anything as much to do with white supremacy as it does to like the music being just, number one, widely available, and number two, being generally good to listen to. So, like I can understand it because in like music theory, they base music theory off of, the I guess the style of like European, Russian composers and stuff like that. And so a lot of big orchestral music and a lot of the way music is taught is kind of based on the sensibilities and modalities of these particular composers. And so I understand it, but I think that it's kind of gotten away from that largely. Not music theory, but like, because we've been introducing more, like, for one, jazz is a really big thing, and it's a lot more influential. Hip hop, R&B is a thing. It's a lot more influential. And then there's also the styles of other music. So like Indian music, like the rajas and stuff. Okay, don't crucify me if I said it wrong. Okay, I'm not good at pronouncing things. Japanese music, Arabic music. I really like Arabic music. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It's just nice. I think. Okay, look. I think semitone. No, not semitones. Like quarter sharps and quarter flats and half sharps, half flats. I think that's cool. Okay, I just think it's cool. It's like introducing dissonance without like having, how you say, I don't even really know how to explain it, but I just think that it's cool, like, cause it's just like, look, I know some stuff about music theory. I don't know enough to be like, I can break it down all the way down to the microscopic level. Okay, I can't do all of that, but I do know what I like, and I do like Arabic music. I think it's very cool. Anyway, so yeah, I understand this, but I just think that the way that this is said is not right. This is not correct. I don't think that the main focus of it was to push white supremacy. I just think that's silly. You can like Bach and Beethoven and Debussy and Tchaikovsky and Rachmaninoff, and you can like all of them without being like, you know, you can like all of them and still not be racist. Like, you know what I mean? It's just silly. Look, at the end of the day, people, I think that more, it's not really what you like. It's kind of more why you like it. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like Tupac, you're not a racist. Not necessarily, right? You're like, oh, well, I just don't really like rap music. I was like, okay, I get it. Like, some people like music that is more melodic. Some people like music where the focus is more on the rhythm and more on the enunciation and more on the words, right? Some people like that. Me, I'm a big fan of instrumental music. So it's kind of weird because I like half of rap, but then the other half I'm just like, oh yeah, I can take it or leave it, unless the rapper is really good. So like instead of just like, has anyone ever listened to like drum music before? Like just pure percussion music, just snares, toms, all of that. It's so cool, and that's what I mean. Like, so they like have a lot of like rhythmic like variety, and they're doing these kind of cool things with like syncopation and stuff. Like, when they do that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh my god, yes, that is what I like. Now, I'm very bad at remembering artists, but I do remember music. So I don't remember titles of music either because I'm just terrible. But like, yeah, that's the kind of thing I like. So, when, you know, like I said, what you like doesn't make you racist, I think, unless it's actually like you're like, oh well, I like racism. Well, maybe you're racist, but like, you know, so you can like Bach, you can like Beethoven. If anyone else has read this article and like, you know, if anyone else has read this article and been just like, oh my god, am I racist because I like Bach? No, you're not. You are not. Okay. Please continue supporting Beethoven, Bach, and all of those other stuff in your local orchestras, okay? And even in orchestras abroad, if your local orchestra has been defunded and no longer exists. Sad. But just continue to support the music, right? And then if you see something new on the program, go and support that too, you know? Widen your horizons, you know? Listen to more music. Oh, my classical music is boring. No, it's not. It just might be that you don't like instrumental music. And if that's the case, then you can go and listen to choral music. Some people, I get it. You can't just listen to a bunch of beautiful melodies and interesting harmonies and all of that. I get it. Choral music gives you some words to hang on to. Also, like, they don't use like really wide vibrato like opera. So, you know, just support your local classical music scene. So go see some operas, go see some musicals, go see some ballet, go see some choral music, go see Go see some recitals. You know, go support the new and budding classical musicians. Like, just go to your local university with the orchestra program and go see some people's recitals. You know, just go and support the orchestras. Okay. We sorry. Just support your local orchestra. Okay. If somebody tells you you're racist for liking Bach, just look at them and tell them to touch grass. Okay, that's all I got to say. Anyway, that's all that I kind of wanted to talk about today. I just got mad at this article for being stupid, even though it did kind of just like made me think, and I'm just like, wait, is this? And I'm like, yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this article because it made me mad and I hated it. Well, I didn't hate it. That's strong. I just disagreed with it strongly. There we go. So I'm just like, no. We want more types of music in the orchestra, unless we're gonna be playing pops all day. And pop music already gets to play. Like, pop music is already played all over the radio. It's already got its platform. We don't need to prop up pop music anymore. We need our own orchestral stuff. We need our super unique orchestras. Are unique. We need to capitalize on that uniqueness, that beauty. Okay? So let's play stuff that's actually made for orchestra. Okay? Anyway, that's all I'm just going to talk about. And I will see you later, I guess. I'm not going to be posting a video today. I'm sorry. Because things happened. And yeah. Anyway. Should I do my outro? Now I'll do my outro. Like if you like, subscribe if you like, follow. Oh, I messed it up. Like if you like, follow if you like, subscribe if you like. I will see you next time.